Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca, and in this week's video, I'm drawing my viewers' OCs. The last time I did this, I set a time limit for myself and tried to draw as many of your characters as I could. This time around, I'm doing the same thing, except instead of the time limit being 45 minutes, I am going to make it be roughly an hour, and if I go over an hour a little bit, it's okay. It's a soft deadline. Because of the time limit last time, I ended up missing some details on the characters, so I'm trying to avoid that this time. Also, like last time, all of the characters were randomly picked, so please don't blame me in the comments for not picking your character. Blame the random number generator. So the first character that was randomly picked is Elise Realis. She is 16 years old and she is a princess attending a prestigious high school. She has the magical power to control knives. The creator is Eliza, and this is her Instagram. Your art style is very charming. I quite like it. Like before, I'm going to be keeping the drawings as fairly simple headshots. They are confined to a square, but some elements will stick out of the square to make things more interesting and fun. For Elise, I'm drawing her turned to the left a bit, so she is in 3/4 view. Later on in the process, I'm going to add a knife, and I'll include a bit of her hand towards the bottom of the square to kind of indicate that she's using her power to make the knife float. Oh, also, I forgot to mention that I've been sick, so that's why I probably still sound a bit sick. I've been trying to be so careful to not get sick. As some of you know, I'm already a germaphobe, so the fact that I now have a child growing in me, I've been even more germophobic. So I've been trying to be super careful. However, I'm pretty sure I got sick when my husband and I went to the hospital for my appointment. It was really busy that day and the elevators kept being packed. Thankfully, I only had one day that was really bad because I had a fever, but my fever broke after about 24 hours. I still felt pretty bad for a few days, but I wasn't as worried about the baby with the fever gone. Now I'm feeling pretty good. My nose and sinuses still feel kind of off, but besides that, I'm doing good. Anyways, back to the drawing. Because I was trying to get this picture done within an hour, I only did one sketch that I used my eraser on to clean it up, and I filled in the base colors. Now I'm drawing in the knife itself. Also, I think this is actually more of a dagger than a knife. I was basing it off the one in the original drawing. However, I did draw the blade more like a sword blade, so maybe it's actually a short sword. I apologize for my blade drawing inaccuracies. I do kind of know the differences because my brother is very into swords and he would often rant about people not knowing the differences between different blades. So yeah, a part of me wants to go back and change it, but I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. Anyways, for the shading, I'm keeping it pretty simple. I mostly apply some cell shading to areas where I want prominent shadows, and I'm using softer gradients for the rest. I did apply a bit of blue to the eyes because the creator mentioned that Lisa's eyes glow blue when she uses her power, but based off of the drawing I saw, it seems like the eyes just kind of get a blue highlight. So I hope this is accurate. I did end up going a little bit over the 1 hour mark for this picture, but that's mostly because I was struggling with how I wanted to draw the magical effect for around the blade. I ended up going with a sort of fiery look that is empty in the middle. This kind of mimics the original drawing. So here's my drawing of Elise. She's a very cute character and I love her fluffy pigtails. I hope you like it, Eliza. Also, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say Eliza or Eliza, so I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. The next character that was randomly picked is named Ray, and he is 21 years old. Ray is very energetic and over the top, and whilst he's smart, he's also incredibly stupid. These are the creator's words, not mine. Ray is very athletic, and he has a large white Maine Coon cat that follows him everywhere. Parts of his legs are metal after he had an infection that meant that they needed to be amputated. The blue patterns on his legs are from when he's painted it, as he enjoys doodling on them when he's bored. For my drawing of Ray, I'm basing it off of this art of him. I don't draw characters with lots of face piercings very often, so I felt like it would be safest to go with him facing us in front view. He was very fun to draw since his hair is very fluffy. Next was base colors. Since I am using my sketch for the final art, I have to do a mixture of the paint bucket tool and filling in areas by hand. My favorite part of this process was adding the darker parts of his hair. For this, I roughly drew the way I wanted the black to flow with the hair, and then I used a textured blending tool to blend out the coloring. Because the original art had a kind of painty texture, I tried to be a bit more textured with my coloring as well. Also, when I announced I was sick last week in this short, some of you were worried about the baby. Thankfully, the baby seems to be doing okay. Things are still going as they should, and I feel baby move around and kind of squiggle. I'm excited for when I can feel the baby move even more. Right now it just feels like little flutters or little boops. So yeah, there's no need to worry. Baby is doing well, it seems. I made sure to get lots of rest and fluids. Oh, and at my appointment we learned the baby's gender. I'm not going to reveal it yet since we still haven't told family yet, but I'm really happy to know what it is. I can finally start doing the actual prep work and thinking of names and stuff. Also, I would love to hear suggestions for what I can call the baby in my videos and what you all can call the baby, as I'm not sure I will say the baby's real name in my videos. But if you have any nickname suggestions, I'd love to hear them. But back to the art. The original drawing had the coloring and shading get pretty dark around the eyes, almost like Ray is wearing eyeshadow. I decided to mimic this look in my art. It was kind of fun to add in, and I really like how it makes the eyes pop. So here's my drawing of Ray. I added in his scar because I almost forgot it, and I also made some small adjustments to his face. He was very fun to draw, and I hope the creator likes my drawing of him. This character was submitted by Liz Sweets over on Twitter. This is Carrie, and she is 22 years old. Carrie is a soft-spoken, sweet, and loving girl. She's known for being selfless and always aims to bring joy to others. She loves girly and cutesy things along with fashion design. She dealt with bullying in her younger years, which resulted in her struggling with confidence and anxiety. In her late teens to early 20s, Carrie, with the help of Mary, her sister, she began to let go of the past and her anxieties. Now, to be honest, I wasn't totally sure how to go about drawing Carrie. There were 2 pictures of her that were unique in their own ways. Your art is beautiful, by the way. But for my drawing, I kind of took inspiration more from this picture, but also tried to take inspiration from this picture as well. Carrie is drawn with more semi-realistic facial proportions, so I tried to do the same for my drawing of her. I drew her with a kind of unsure or uneasy smile, since her description talks about her lacking confidence but eventually finding it. Also, for some reason with the way I drew Carrie, it is giving me Barbie vibes. More specifically, kind of Barbie and the Secret Door vibes. In my opinion, that was like the last good Barbie movie. Oh my word, I should not have looked up when the movie came out. It came out in 2014. I feel so old. But yeah, I miss the old Barbie movies, like the ones where it was Barbie playing a role in a movie. Now the movies are always actually about Barbie and her sisters and stuff, and they are just never as interesting to me as the older movies, like Princess and the Pauper, 12 Dancing Princesses, Island Princess. I still love all those movies. Also, I got way into the shading of the skin for this picture. I was having a lot of fun rendering it and adding the different colors, but then when I looked at the time, I only had 10 minutes left to finish the rest of the shading, so then I had to go into like super speed mode. I did allow myself to go over the time limit. I think I spent about an hour and 15 minutes on this drawing. I am happy I gave myself a bit more time for these pictures. The 45 minutes were a bit of a time crunch and it was kind of rough. But with having the soft deadline of about an hour, I felt like I could still get all of the details and stuff in place without needing to like crazy rush. And so here's my drawing of Carrie. I hope you like it, Liz Sweets. Your art is super pretty, and thank you so much for submitting your characters. This character was submitted by Nova264 here on YouTube. This is their character Kagura. She is kind and always trying her best. And I can't quite tell, but it seems like she may have some kind of plant-related power. I can see some foliage on her arms and hands, but I'm not too sure. So for the past 3 drawings, I did like them, but at the time of me working on this piece, I wasn't sure if I was happy with how they turned out. Because of that, I decided to change up my process a bit to be closer to my usual illustration process. I did a more loose sketch at first to get an idea of where I want things, and then I went over my sketch with a cleaner pass. At first I was keeping the second pass also kind of sketchy, but then I switched over to doing something closer to line art with my pencil brush. Now, because I did a rough sketch and also basically did line art, I thought I would end up going over the 1 hour time limit by a decent amount. But to my surprise, like with the other pictures, I only went over by about 10 or 15 minutes. So it ended up not being too different. I think what caused there to not be as much of a difference was that filling in the base colors goes much faster when my line work is cleaner. So because of that, there ended up not being too much of a difference in the times. At least I kind of assume that's why they're not too different. I feel like out of the pieces I had made so far, this was the first one to feel a bit more true to my usual style and process. And I am pleased with how it turned out, especially the pose. I feel like it turned out a bit more interesting, and by allowing myself the first initial rough sketch, I feel like things turned out a bit better for the posing. For the shading, I did my usual mixture of cell shading and soft shading. I decided to have the light source be pretty neutral. I did have fun adding in the highlights for the hair. I wanted to add some pinks and purples to the highlights to incorporate more of the purple with the top of the hair. Also, I hope it's okay I went with this format of video again for the drawing your characters. I know some people prefer the old format where I only draw 2 fancier illustrations, but many people enjoyed this format as well. I feel like whatever format I decide to do will just kind of depend on my mood and what I feel up for. And I do like this format since I do get to draw more characters and the illustrations are a little bit lower pressure. But I do also enjoy drawing 2 fancier illustrations. They often tend to push me a bit. Anyways, here's my drawing of Kagura. I hope you like it, Nova, and thank you so much for submitting your character. She's really cool. The next character that was randomly chosen was Faith, and she is 16 years old. Faith can be chill, but also moody. She likes to do her hair while listening to music and playing video games. I really love Faith's vibes. She reminds me a bit of Shiko from Kim Possible, and I'm all for it. There was one drawing of Faith with a rose, so I decided to go with a pose where she's holding a rose. I think that rhymed. Because I was pleased with how my drawing process went for the last picture, I decided to follow a similar process again for this picture. But this time when I do the line work, I use my usual line work brush. The reason for this is mostly because Faith has a lot of darker colors, and it's easier to fill in the darker colors if I use a more solid line art that is more on the neat side. Also, if you celebrate Christmas, I hope you all had a good Christmas. As I'm recording this audio, it has not been Christmas yet for me, but I am very much looking forward to Christmas. We plan to reveal the gender of the baby to my family on Christmas. We got a gender reveal cake and it looks super cute. I'm also super excited to open presents and give gifts to all my family. This is probably like the first Christmas where I don't know any of my Christmas presents. A lot of times I would go Christmas shopping with my mom, so sometimes I would see things that she would get me. And I did do some Christmas shopping with her this year, but not as much as I have in the past. So I have no idea what I'm getting this year, and I didn't really ask for much. Oh, and as an extra touch, I added some rose petals to the background. I thought it'd be kind of pretty. And here's my picture of Faith. Her outfit is super cute, and I love drawing her hat. I hope the creator is happy with my drawing of her. This will be the last character I'm drawing, and she was submitted by Ren. Their OC's name is Ellie, and she is 156 years old, or 27 in human years. Ellie is an elven knight on the quest to find a magical gemstone that is said to unite all of the elven kingdoms. When I saw Ellie, I thought she was super cool, and I was super excited to draw her. I love her design and all of the different details. Ellie was actually the first and only OC I drew after getting sick. I had drawn all the other characters before coming down sick. I was still partially recovering when I was drawing Ellie. Because of this, I didn't make myself stick to the 1 hour soft deadline. I just let myself take my time and drew at my own pace. I wanted to take it easy and just listen to YouTube videos while drawing. I also ended up being on the phone talking to my siblings for a little bit. Overall, I ended up spending about 2 hours on this piece. Ellie is a pretty detailed character, and I'm not very fast at drawing braids, so this contributed to the longer drawing time. But I did enjoy the process. Like with the other recent drawings, I decided to do finished line work. I do hope people don't feel that it's unfair that I spent more time on this picture. If I had been more energized and focused, it probably would have been closer to the times of the other pieces. But like I said, I wanted to take things at a more leisurely and chill pace. Back in the day, I probably would have worked through being sick and would have tried to get the video posted last Saturday like it was supposed to be. However, with being pregnant, I didn't want to push myself at all. My body isn't just my own anymore, so I have to make sure to take extra good care of it. I mean, it's not like I treated my body super badly before I was pregnant. It's just now I try to be more aware, like making sure I get a good amount of fluids and eating properly, as well as doing exercises that help relieve pain. For a little while I was having a good amount of lower back pain. Thankfully it has gone down, but I do have some days where it is worse. I actually need to be a little bit better about doing my exercises, but I'm always so tired and moving is so much work, but it is good for me. So I should probably do those more. My belly is starting to get pretty decent in size. I am majorly running out of pants to wear, and a lot of my non-oversized sweaters are starting to not really fit. I bought a sweater as a sample from my online store, and I ordered it in my usual size. And yeah, it does not fit. I'll probably have to do some shopping for maternity clothes here soon. Oh, also off topic, but for my video schedule, I'll be posting one more video on January 4th, and then I'll be not posting for a couple of weeks, but I'll be back on January 25th. As usual, I'm taking a couple of weeks off in January to help me prepare for the coming year. I actually hope to get some videos pre-recorded during those weeks. I want to have several videos that are pre-made so that I can have YouTube videos be posted after the baby is born. That way I have some weeks to recover after giving birth, as well as time to bond with the baby and get more used to life with baby. But during the couple of weeks where I am not posting, I'm thinking about doing a live stream. If I do, I'll probably stream on January 17th, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'll keep you all updated either via the post tab on my channel or via YouTube short. Some of my favorite parts for drawing Ellie was rendering the jewels in her hair pieces and the armor. Both are very shiny things, and I always find shiny things to be fun to shade. I like getting to work with a lot of contrast between the shadows and the highlights. I probably could have rendered things a bit more, but I was trying to not spend a ton of time on this piece, so I just rendered things until I felt like I was getting the feeling that I wanted across. I do need to practice drawing armor more often because if or when I do work on my fairy comic, I want to be able to draw Chip's armor pretty fast without it being a pain in the bum. So it's definitely something I should draw more often. I'll probably also make a lot of character references for Chip and his armor for me to refer to because that would be really helpful. But yeah. With the last finishing touches, this picture is now done. Thank you so much, Ren, for letting me draw Ellie. Her design is really cool, and it was great drawing her. And of course, thank you so much to everyone who submitted their characters. This series wouldn't be possible if you didn't send me your characters to draw, so thank you for taking the time to do that. It's always fun to do since I get to draw new characters and draw new things. Before we end, I want to thank my super awesome YouTube members and Patreon patrons for their support. It means so much to me. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!